Hello and welcome, 7th of August, about 11 o'clock in the morning. Intermittent sun and a bit breezy at the minute. It's going to pour down this afternoon, so let's get on with it. Right, let's show you what's going on then. It's a bit of a theme of coping with weather and learning new things this year. A few bags of wood chippings from my dad. They're going to probably go on here. I'm probably going to cover all that with cardboard. Put the wood chippings down on top. Because this is my strawberry area. So this area was just covered in grass and old strawberries that were not very productive. So I took some runners last year. I took them in October and the plants didn't have much chance to grow before it got really cold. So they're doing alright. They've produced a few strawberries this year, but they'll probably come into their own next year. But they're already producing runners. Plenty of them, which have got nowhere to lodge themselves into because I've put all this stone down to suppress the weeds. So I'm going to pop them runners in some soil to get them rooting, and that'll be my year 2 strawberries. We've got this, let's call it a wildflower bed here. Main crop of potatoes. I think they're about 12 weeks in the ground, so maybe a few more weeks before they come up. Spinach, planted or sowed some more spinach there. Spinach is alright, it's a little bit eaten, but alright. Onions grown from seed. First year I've grown onions from seed, Red Baron, and they're looking fine, First year of growing cabbages. These were under protection till 2 or 3 weeks back, but big enough to look after themselves now, I think, so they are doing fine too. Spring onions, they are in clumps rather than the rows that I've got there, the red onions. Again, sown from seed, they're doing alright. I don't even want to talk about this bit, but I will. Planted, sowed some seeds, kale and broccoli. By the time the seedlings come up, there's all weeds and I can't tell what's what, but I really don't think any of them have come up due to the hot weather at the time. Like I said, this year it's either been really wet or really hot and sunny. Good example is I planted some rows of turnip and radish. I've had to do a second sowing because it was really dry at the time. And these are the turnips. They've actually come up, but it's been tough for seeds that you put in the ground. Put some peas there. Need to protect them when they come up. Beetroot. Now, if anyone knows what these are, shout. I thought there were carrots coming up because I had carrots here last year because of the feathery leaves. Then they started producing these flowers. Don't know what they are, but they look nice. I've got a beetroot. Just pluck this one today. I've got beetroot there and a line of beetroot here. A bit younger. So they'll come once I've put these. Let's take another one. Let's take another one. Look at that. Beautiful. Peas, Paco peas. These plants are about done now. I'm going to harvest these peas today. Like I said, I've just planted a few more. We've got my second potatoes, Bonnie and Nicola. They've been in the ground 13 weeks. 13 weeks. I might take some of them up today. My leeks that I've let go to seed. This one's quite dry. This one has flopped, but it's still purple. I'm going to take the heads. There's a bee. Hello bee. Having a good feed, isn't he? I think I'm going to take the heads off these today and dry them out. and try and grow leeks from seed next year. Right, what are we on to now? We are on to, oh, it's a mixed bed. Tomatoes, outdoor tomatoes, we'll come on to them in a minute. My leeks, a month ago, these were dead. Really hot weather. They weren't happy at all. Put them out in the ground here. And they've come on a bit. Last year I had hundreds of leeks. Now maybe I've got 10 or 15 tops, but we'll get some. Green beans. Again, these were munched when they came out of the ground, so I haven't got many there at all. But the tomatoes, my outdoor tomatoes, so these were the smaller plants I just put outside. They were amid some onions, but the onions have been taken up, which we'll see in a minute. But we have tomatoes outdoor, and we are in the north of England, so I am happy with that. And we'll come on to tomatoes and the learning experience in a minute. Squash, pumpkins, courgettes, a month ago, like the leeks, these were minuscule. I didn't think they were going to make it. So I'd written down on the pots before I transplanted them out here 4 weeks ago. I'd written what type of pumpkin they were, what type of squash they were. I didn't think they were going to make it, so I just basically dumped them in the ground. So some of these, it's a case of let's see what they produce, and it might be a little bit late. So for example, this is a courgette, because I have seen a courgette developing. This time last year they'd already produced loads, and so they are really behind. I'm more worried about the pumpkins, whether they'll have actually a chance to produce any and grow before it gets too cold. Sweetcorn again, they were probably only about up to there when, no, maybe even lower, 4 weeks ago. So they've come on, but again, they are a lot further behind than previous years where it normally have been twice that size. Aubergines, again, another learning experience. So these were at home until a couple of weeks back. Now, they had these big leaves, which I'm still learning about aubergines. Maybe these, like most, well, like pumpkins and squashes, they throw out some big leaves at first to attract the sun and get some energy, I'm guessing. And these leaves have come out since, in the past few weeks. Maybe they're like the true leaves. I don't know. I'm learning with aubergines, but we do have a flower developing there. So you never know. But with aubergines, I've got some at home, and one of them's got a flower. If I get one aubergine this year, I'll be happy. Apples has been quite windy. So this branch, for example, almost snapped off, but the leaves on the branch are still green, so I'm keeping it on. One branch did fall off. Pears, I've got loads more around there than I have previous years. I suspect they'll either drop off or be so small and no good. I need to get better at tree pruning. I'm alright with an apple tree, so I guess I should be alright with a pear tree, but plum and cherry tree, really need to swat up on that. I'm sure I've got too many branches there. Cherries always produce, the birds always get them, not a problem. Autumn fruiting raspberries, the new growth. It's a new growth this year. See, it's green, producing. I did leave as an experiment 10 or so canes from last year. You see they're brown, about 60 centimetres height. They've already produced their raspberries, not of great quantity, but enough. But now the autumn fruiting raspberries, the new growth, as you can see here, big green stems, is producing some lovely raspberries. Let's take one. Yeah, so all good on the raspberry front. Ponds. Careful not to tread in them. Some nice flowers there. Beautiful. Let's go look at the peppers and chilies. In my protected area here, peppers and chilies. We do have pepper there. So we've got flowers on them. So they should produce something. Obviously they're outside. I've got some more indoors. Oh, hang on. Top secret. I'll only show you that if it works out, I think. Any regular viewers might have an inkling what's going on there, but we'll find out in due course, won't we? Shed / greenhouse. Full of tomato plants. Oh, tomato plants. My first year growing tomatoes. A learning experience. Sowed the seeds. I had plenty of them coming up. To be honest, I didn't know what I was doing, so I was just happy with any growth. So I maybe didn't take the side shoots off when I should have done. Prime example of that at home. So the tomatoes I've got at home. Splits into two there. I'm sure I should have just kept it as one. Same with this plant. Splits into two, both of them go right up to the top. That being said, I do have tomatoes. Not a bad supply of them. Some of them are almost ready. But I just feel I should have kept it to one stem rather than it split into two. But I have tomatoes. Obviously it should just be one going up, so maybe taking the energy of the plant in two different directions rather than one. So I have got tomatoes, but they're maybe not as big as they could have been in here. They're too close together. I can't really get in to take all the side shoots off. I need to take some more leaves off to let the tomatoes that are developing get some more sun and air. We do have tomatoes. We do have tomatoes. You know, we have tomatoes. I just get a feeling that we maybe could have had bigger and better ones if I'd have done it right. But it's a learning experience. So this year I'm just happy I got some tomatoes. Next year we'll improve and be a bit more strict about how many I've got, the spacing and taking all the side shoots out and stuff. But I'm happy with them, especially when it's sunny and it all looks nice. Yeah, it's alright. I've got tomatoes. I planted some seeds and I have grown some tomatoes, so that's all good. We got indoor chilies here, which are doing all right. And here we've got my onions and garlic that are drying out in here. So I think I'm gonna, their skins are nice and hard now. I think I'm gonna take the tops off these, take the tops off them, and put them in a dark place. And they should store nicely. Right, that was the showing. Now for the doing. So I'm going to take the strawberry runners, put them in the soil, bury them ever so slightly, and I'm sure it was Bill and Val's Allotment who I learnt this from one of their videos, using hair grips to pin them down to the soil so they maintain contact. So thank you, Bill and Val. I'm sure it was their video that I saw that on. I'm gonna crack on and put some more in. there we go then. Most of the runners now with contact to soil. I'll leave them connected to the plants by this until they develop bigger roots, and cut them off from the main plants and maybe put them somewhere a bit less exposed over winter. Pleased with that. It almost looks like I know what I'm doing. Right, let's harvest the peas. Right, Paco Peas. I've been taking some each week, but not very many. So some of these are probably a little bit big and tough. Other ones are more fresh and small and nice. Paco Peas. Look at that. Beautiful. I like them when they're really small and juicy. Oh, very good. Very good. Like I said, some are older than others. This one, for example, I bet these are a lot bigger, maybe slightly drier. But again, all good. Planted some more peas in the bed next door and protect them from birds a bit better. These were protected by spiky twigs. I did lose an entire row of peas to birds, but there you go. That's life. Right, what's next? Right, second early potatoes then. Bonnie and Nicola. Let's see what 13 weeks gets you.
Dig. Dave. Dig.
Dig, 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 dig.
So here we go then, Bonnie and Nicola. One potato plant each worth. Got plenty more to go. The soil is wet, obviously, because we've had a fair bit of rain lately. So I don't want to leave them in the ground for too long, but it should be alright if I take a couple of plants each week. Keep me in potatoes. Yep, pleased with those. What a week that was. I came down last weekend, just did weeding, weather was miserable. It was rubbish. This week I've got beetroot, my potatoes are alright. I've got peas, I've sorted my strawberries out. I've got a posy of leek flowers. Learning all the time, coping with weather. Oh, what an experience. Thank you for watching. Click subscribe, send me a comment. See you next time. Cheers.